Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Ready to Love. Y'all know that this is the last episode for this season, so let's go ahead and get into it. So the episode started out with Sydney meeting up with Phil because she wanted to hear his side of the story about what happened between he and Shiloh, him and Shiloh, all the stuff they had going on because I'm pretty sure he should have enough sense to know that it was discussed. It was brought to the table. It was brought down to the carpet. So he was like, yeah, we did have a moment. I did put my hands on her, but it wasn't in a way to hurt her. I was trying to protect her. It was late and all this other stuff. And so she was like, I hear you. I believe that you wouldn't do that to me. I am basing my decision on which way I go with you just off of me. Like, I'm basing it off of how you've treated me. And you have this calmness about yourself and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, I don't see it. I don't see where he ready to love. I don't see it. I just feel like he was one of those people who was lucky enough that people were like, well, dang, ain't nobody else really barking up my tree, and I think he look all right, so let me holler at him. Like, I don't feel like he was there for love. I just don't. I don't see it. All I got to say is I'm waiting on a reunion because we gonna see. We gonna see. But anyway, I'll get back to that later on. So they are doing their final brunch. Y'all know they always have something where everybody, all the couples that are left, link up and they're talking and they're mingling. And Tommy is like, look, I've given y'all all the tools y'all need in order to be ready to love. Hopefully when y'all do this last step, y'all will be good. And the last step is for the men to have whoever the woman or the women are that they are indecisive about to meet up with their families. Right now, Frank has Mumin and Sydney. It's like, we at the finish line at this point. You all know what you're supposed to want. But who am I? So yeah. It's just a mess. So anyway, with Frank, he ended up having Mumin and Sydney meet at different times. And he had his cousins. He says that he's really close to his cousins and they are like brother and sister to him. I think this was the one who had a male cousin and a female cousin. If not, anyway, it's cousins. So Sydney, as usual, off the rip, she need to know: do you think he'll be a good father? He want kids like that? How is he in a relationship? Like, what is going on? Like, how is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be a good situation? Like she really comes with the questions that need to be answered. Mumin was more like, hey, I do like him, and I mean, she was asking a lot of the same questions or whatever, but she was really concerned as to whether or not he would be willing to go to church with her and all this other stuff. That is something that I myself have found to be difficult to find in a potential mate because people really will tend to tell me, oh yeah, I'm here for that, I'm gonna do that. Then we get together, it's everything but, and I'm just like, now, since COVID and all that stuff happened, I don't know if I ever want to set foot back into a church because that's one of the more crazier breeding grounds for everything. Whether you believe that COVID exists or not, I'm just saying, there's a lot of nasty folks all up and through the church. It's just so many different things that we could talk about the church in reference to, but we ain't gonna go there right now. That's not what this is about. But I'm just saying, like, her faith is very important to her. And despite the fact that she wants to be in a happy and healthy relationship with someone, she wants that person that she's with to have a healthy relationship with the Lord. So it is what it is. So, after everything was said and done, the family was like, personality wise, we see you with Sydney, but as far as like marrying and settling down with, we see you with Mumin. And it's like, to me, I just feel like everybody really slick be like, okay, Sydney fine, but Mumin, she ain't ugly, but she alright, and she that one that you just settle down with. You be wild with people like Sydney, but you settle down with somebody like her. Like, I feel like it's slick shade, but I might be wrong. Am I wrong? Is that what y'all catching too? Because I really feel like a lot of people be like, ooh, this person's so fine. But then when it comes to Mumin, they like, well, I mean, she alright, but you know, I probably could settle down with her, but I'm gonna be wild with everybody else. I don't know. That's just what I be getting from it. But who am I? So anyway, then we end up seeing Walter. Walter had his sister and his aunt to meet Sabrina. And you know, after his issues with Mumin, and Mumin has decided that she's going to be vocal. Like, and I'm glad. I'm glad that a lot of us women are deciding to be vocal. And if we see something that is not suiting us, or we feel as though there's a problem, we speak up about it. I like the communication. I like having good communication with a person. So I get that. And he wasn't here for that. And as we already have seen, he's not that great of a communicator, but let's continue on. We'll get to that later on. So, you know, Sabrina wanted to know how Walter is in a relationship, wanted to know if he's been affectionate with people that they've seen him with in the past. And they were like, yeah, he's very affectionate. And so she's like, well, I'm confused because, like, ever since day one, you know what I'm saying, since literally day one of us locking eyes, the first day we came into this process, you know, we felt like we were really great together and that we had this amazing connection, but he's not affectionate to me. And so, like, I'm big on affectionate, being on a person being affectionate as well. I understand. But so that has been a big concern for her. That has been a big red flag for her. And as she said before, she is a terrible picker of men. So I'm glad she's listening to her gut this time. But ultimately she was like, look, I'm a single mother and I want to be happy. I want my child to be happy. I'm not worried about everything else. Like, this person does not have to try to replace her father because the father is not there. It is what it is. If all is said and done and you are not the person that I need to be with, then I can go on about my business and continue to raise my child happy and healthy without you. And then whoever the right person is will come along, and then that will be the person that is going to help me to raise my child. But as of right now, I'm a single mother. I ain't got time for the foolishness. I am worried about her health, her healthiness, her happiness, and her well-being. It is what it is. So anyway, I mean, of course, they want to know if she wants to know if they feel like he's ready to love. And when they were talking, when she was gone, they were like, you know, she's a little different from all the other women that you dated before. But he was like, you know, that's the case. That is the case or whatever. But I'm open to the process. And my thing is, when a lot of people harp on saying I'm open to the process the entire time, when you know you have to make a decision, it's like, are you a terrible decision maker? Or like what? Like, usually people know, like, off rip, like, okay, this is definitely the one. Like, I'm gonna try to do everything I can to get this one. But I guess because he's just stuck in his ways, it just is what it is. And again, we will get there. So anyway, then we end up seeing Dante. He ended up having his brother and his cousin to come. It was two guys. They questioned Aisha because, of course, Aisha is the person who he wanted his family to meet. They questioned Aisha about her last relationship, which, of course, was her marriage. And she had been married for quite some time. And they were like, okay, so what actually led you to the Chocolate City? And so she was like, well, you know, I was in my last relationship and I actually got divorced here and all of that. And it just was what it was. That's what brought her to DC. She was just like, look, ultimately, you know, I understand what I want. I know what I want. Our relationship had its season. It ended. It was what it was. But I know what I want. I want to be courted. I know everything that I want from a man. I know what I deserve. I know what I want. So a question came up about whether or not she is willing to go 50-50 on bills. And so she was like, because she had already said that, you know, she does not mind being a homemaker and just basically, like, if a bill or two is thrown her way, she don't mind paying it because, you know, she does have her own salon and all that other stuff. She has her own business. But she believes in the traditional way of doing things. She believes in a traditional relationship where the man is the one who goes out, makes the money, pays most, if not all, of the bills, and the woman takes care of the home, meaning making sure that those bills get paid, in a sense, because that's what my mama did. making sure things are cooked, cleaned, the man is taken care of, sexual needs, I'm pretty sure all of that was included. But yeah, she's always making it plain that like I love to cook, I love being a mom, I love catering to the person that I'm with. And so she's just like, look, I know my role. I believe in the woman playing a certain role. And Dante kind of like, I don't know about all that, but I might have to adapt. So it might be worth me adapting. And it's like part of me already knew that once the cousin and or brother asked that was gonna be something that he ain't used to. So I'm like, okay. But yeah, ultimately, I mean, they felt like everything went okay as far as the meeting was concerned. Aisha came, she was looking good. Aisha was looking good. So anyway, Phil ended up having his aunt and his cousin to meet up with Sydney. Now, he was talking about he was nervous, and this was really his first time being nervous during this whole process. And I'm like, well, I'm guessing it's because it's nearing the end. Like, you're going to have to put up or shut up at this point. So, Sydney's talking about how she's shaking too. And I'm like, so do you like him more than Frank? What is going on here? Because every time we turn around, you make it seem like, oh, you just got to have you some Frank. All because y'all both are a part of the nightclub scene and all of this stuff, the nightlife scene, and that you understand what that entails and how a lot of people can't handle that type of relationship. I get that, but that ain't it. I'm sorry. I don't feel like that's just what it needs to be in order for somebody to say this is solidified for me because of this. Like, no. So anyway, again, she talking about he has this quiet strength. I just don't understand why she keeps saying this calm and this quiet strength. I don't know. It actually did not really, really surprise me that he and Shiloh got into it like that, because he does seem like he is a domineering type of guy, where I understand that is something that a lot of guys feel like they need to be, but it's not necessary. Like, you can be strong and all of that without having to be like, let me exercise my power by doing this. But, I could be completely wrong. It is what it is. So anyway, they ended up asking about, whether or not she had any other connections or whatever. She was like, yeah, I do. And of course, they want to be messy with production and have all this crazy music and stuff playing and having him like looking crazy, like, ooh, like he didn't know that Frank was the other person. And I'm like, child, y'all doing too much. But he talking about it feels right. But she talking about she's still stuck. So she still got time to think about it in her mind. So now today is the day where everybody is going to choose whether or not they're going to be with the person that they trying to deal with. Today is choosing day, as they want to call it. Walter and Sabrina met up. He chose her. She said that, she always felt like, because of how everything happened with him in the beginning, that she should have been number one and all of that. And she wants to feel like she was number one, but ultimately she always had him as her number one, but she was always treated like she was number two. And so he looking confused like, huh? Walter got emotional because it's like he could tell what was coming. And she was just like, I think we're just going to have to leave this where it's at. Like, we are not ready to love one another. Like, you are not ready to love. So as she was walking away, and about to walk away, he was like, give me a call. She was like, I will, because don't call me. And I'm like, see, the communication. She has already said this several times, so I don't blame her. Like, you can't shoot nobody a text message. Like, I cannot stand being on the phone. But if I really like somebody, I will get on that phone and sit there and talk to you. I will. And if I feel uncomfortable and I start to feel uneasy because I don't like being on the phone, I will tell you. You know what I'm saying? But I tell people off rip, I don't like being on the phone. But it is what it is. But my thing is, he should have been like, I know the communication is a big deal in relationships in general. But for whatever reason, he just was not paying attention to that and just doing what he wanted to do and was waiting around, I guess you could say, for her to call. And that's not the way it's supposed to go. It go both ways. I'm not trying to make it seem like, oh, she needs to be like a damsel in distress waiting on his call, but you don't never call. Pretty much, like you very rarely call. That's one sided, and that's not fair. So I don't blame her. So anyway, that's over with. It is what it is. That ended up being a sad situation. So they decided that they wanted to be inconspicuous when it came to Walter and Frank. I mean, not Frank, Walter and Frank. I don't know why you put that right there. About Phil and Frank. And I'm just like, just stop the madness. So anyway, Phil ended up choosing Sydney, and she said the thing is, and she was like, you've always given me butterflies and all that. So they basically ended up choosing one another. And I'm like, child, like I said, I want to see what happens when they get to the reunion, but go off though. Frank ended up choosing Mumin, and she, was here for it, and she chose him as well. She was like, I feel safe with you. And she was like, look, I feel like we can work out as long as you are willing to communicate and we are able to communicate effectively with one another. And she asked him, she was like, are you going to go to church with me? Like, he was like, come on, let's go. Well, last but not least was Dante and Aisha. And he said at first he didn't even think she was coming, but then all of a sudden he saw her coming with this dress on, this blue dress on, looking like a goddess. I was like, come on now with goddess. Ah! See, Walter don't know what to do. I know I'm wrong, but remember, did y'all see it? Remember when he sat up there and told Sabrina she was looking like a princess, and she was like, no, a queen. I'm like, the fact that she had to, child, let me stop. So anyway, yeah. Dante and Aisha ended up choosing one another, and it was a beautiful moment. But yet again, I am waiting to see what happens at the reunion, because it really be popping off at the reunion. Child, I don't even want to go into the little preview I did see, because let's just say the juiciness for next week. Anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hopefully y'all enjoyed my recap of Ready to Love, the last episode for the season before the reunion. Ain't nothing going on with me, y'all. I'm about to go somewhere and sit down. Hopefully I'm about to play my video games, start winding down for work. Anyway, subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see y'all down in the comment section. Y'all, look at this. Lipstick want to act a fool. But anyway, y'all have a good one, and I'll see y'all later on. Bye.